Hi guys, Between Two Worlds with Deb. The title of our video today is Child Trafficking Epidemic. New movie out. I recommend that you see it. Sound of Freedom. It has everything to do with my video. I was going to do another one, but with this new movie out and what is on my heart, I've decided to do this one instead. I hope you enjoy the video. Have a blessed day. Okay, guys, let's see what Turley has to say about it. Look, Hollywood panics as Mel Gibson exposes them all.
In a 1998 interview, Mel Gibson made a number of cryptic references to a dark and evil side of Hollywood that he personally encountered.
When I came over here, I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
The first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because a whole place can't be like, Weird Town, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill. And it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like. Could it?
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out later on the track that you were exactly on track
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time. And you think, a place like this can humiliate you.
Mm-hmm.
And it can humiliate you, it can be humbling. I mean, it does rip your life to pieces.
Is it?
If you'll let it.
Yeah.
And it's always pounding at the walls. It's these little guys, these little heathens with no soul downstairs with horns on their head with a battering ram trying to beat your wall.
Okay. So that's what Mel Gibson has to say of exposing Hollywood. Let's see what our former president has to say about the child trafficking.
We're here to talk about human trafficking on the southern border. This is a group of incredible people who we've been working with in different levels and different forms, and they're going to be speaking, most of them, and telling you some stories and how we need border security. If we don't have it, the Democrats, frankly, will be doing this country a tremendous disservice. Nancy Pelosi is doing a very, very great disservice to our country, and I think she's got to get on the ball, because we're going to have a wall that's being built anyway. But if you don't have it, human trafficking, just as an example, when you see today what's going on, people that aren't willing to do what they have to do and they know what they have to do, they're doing the country a tremendous disservice. We're here to directly from members of law enforcement hear what they have to say, and battling the scourge of human trafficking on our southern border and all across our nation. Much of it comes, in fact, most of it comes, some people would say almost all of it, from the southern border, which we can stop very easily. This is not something you can go through points of entry. You can't just say that you have 3 people in a car and bound up and all sorts of problems, and you can't go through a port of entry, obviously. They go through areas where we don't have a wall. So I want to thank Secretary Nielsen, Associate.
Okay, we're going to stop right there. Now, what about our current administration? Let's see what they think about the child trafficking.
A whistleblower is expected to issue a stark warning to lawmakers today that the U.S. has become, quote, the middleman in a multi-billion-dollar migrant child trafficking operation at the border. Joining me now is Republican Texas Congressman Pat Fallon for more on this. Congressman, the headline of this story is horrifying, that the United States government would somehow play the middleman in this. Is that true?
David, thank you for having me on. Absolutely. Joe Biden and his administration
have really not only enabled but facilitated the largest sex trafficking and human smuggling operation in human history. And it's been going on now, David, for almost 2.5 years. We've had 7 million people cross the border illegally in the last 2.5 years. We've lost contact. The HHS has lost contact with 85,000 unaccompanied minors. And while most Americans don't,
85,000 kids that are missing at the border. You starting to see why they're opening the borders wide open?
realize is the drug cartels charge up to $4,000 per person for people that cross the border. And if you don't have that money, they'll either make you be a mule, they'll harm you, or you can quote unquote work it off. And that's why sexual trafficking is alive and well in the United States.
I wonder if they turn their kids in, can they walk across the border?
There certainly is no question that the number of unaccompanied children crossing the border has dramatically increased. It was 33,000 in 2020, which is a huge number. Then in 2022, 2 years later, it went up to 152,000. And look at this, just so far this year, and we've only gone through a third of the year, 70,000. That could lead to 210,000 or even higher for the full year. So the numbers have dramatically increased. But again, I just want to be clear: it's not necessarily the government is helping specifically.
It's not necessarily the government, or is it the government? That is the question.
Consciously helping traffickers of children in this awful crime. It's just that could be the consequence of their actions, right?
David, there's no doubt it's a consequence of the actions. You just said and stated those figures. It's about 700% worse right now than it was under Donald Trump in his last year.
700% worse. And you saw the numbers, folks. The numbers don't lie. Follow the money, you'll follow where the kids are. But what are they doing with our kids? Where are they taking them to? I think it's a lot more heinous than we ever could possibly imagine. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what's so important about the kids, but I'm sad to think. Let's see what Mr. Hannity has to say about the movie Sound of Freedom. And look, by the way, I want you to go see The Sound of Freedom. Absolutely. It's a must. It's a must see.
All right, the new hit film Sound of Freedom is taking the country by storm. It has quickly now become a box office hit while exposing the horrors of child sex trafficking. At the end of the film, they featured these shocking statistics. Take a look at these. Take a second to read them. Now, this is a topic we have been covering for years.
$150 billion a year business, trafficking children. And where are they taking them to? You know, I've known for a couple years that this was going on. And if I would have spoke of it and the things that they're doing to the kids, wow, they would have thought I was crazy.
For example, our very own Sarah Carter has shared these stories of human trafficking at our southern border. She sat down with a human smuggler last summer who told her even he is uncomfortable with the amount of children being smuggled into our country. Our border is broken. Children are being sexually abused. Nobody seems to care in Joe Biden's White House because open borders is facilitating all of this. Look at this disturbing story out of Tennessee. Soccer coach charged with raping multiple minors was in this country illegally for decades. Right now, with the reaction to Sound of Freedom, is actor Jim Caviezel, who, by the way, this is separate and apart
Absolutely love this guy.
from SAG and AFTRA and all the strike that's going on. I want to make that a point that you're not in any way going against that. Is that correct?
Yes, those are my brothers and sisters of SAG. I support them, but we're not a part of the AMPTP. We wanted to be, but they didn't want any part of this film.
Well, here's the thing. This film was made over 5 years ago. It's based on a true story. And
yeah, and they also say that this film is part of the QAnon. Well, the QAnon wasn't even around 5 years ago when this movie began. So good luck with that, mainstream media.
in your first week out, you blew away the new version.
Guess what? It's at 100 billion. I'm sorry, 100 million.
Raiders of the Lost Ark with Harrison Ford. Your second week, you did better, a 37% increase in theaters, and you have far less theaters than all these other movies, over your first weekend. That means to me, Jim Caviezel, and we've been friends a long time, that word of mouth is echoing all across the country.
Yeah.
I found this to be a powerful movie that everybody needs to see.
Sean, I just want to also thank you and the American people for coming out and supporting this film. You were one of the first that addressed this with us and really helped get the word out. You know, when we were down in Cartagena, the guys would come up, traffickers, and they would, you know, right in front of us, ask us if we wanted niñas or niños, and little boys or little girls. And people think that that's not something that happens here in the United States. Well, absolutely it does. Over 300,000 children under the ages of 18 were sucked into the deepest recesses of hell. And it's disgusting that the media hasn't covered it like they should. There obviously is really good media like yourself, but others that completely ignore it. And I think people need to understand, American people are starting to understand what is actually going on, and are sick and tired of it, especially with the south border.
Bring light into the dark. Bring light into the dark. That's what we need to do. But if anyone causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it would be better for him to have a large millstone hung around his neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Amen to that. These are the 6 things that the Lord hates. 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood. There it is right there. Hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that devises wicked schemes. Would you think these child traffickers aren't devising wicked schemes? Feet that are quick to rush to evil. You don't think it's evil what they're doing to these kids? A false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. They're constantly stirring up. They're constantly doing all these things. They are taking our... What are they doing with the children? Then what are they doing with these innocent children? What do you think? It's more evil than we could possibly imagine. It's more awful, heinous, everything that you could possibly imagine. Listen, pray for these children. I have not stopped praying ever since I found this. I've not stopped praying every day. I pray for these children. God is bringing light into the darkness, and we need to contact our congressman, whoever that we need to contact to do something about this. The only way that this could ever stop is if we apply pressure. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe and get this out to everyone that you possibly can, because we need to bring total awareness that the only way anything can be done is if we do it. Thank you, and God bless.